what the government now is doing, well, if I dare to tell you, is to kill you first, then to save you, then you die from the saving, from the rescue. The government has done its job. Well, you don't see the killing part, you see the saving part, and finally you die. I mean, of course, not you die, but your company, your corporate, your personal savings, your household livelihood died. Then you say, oh, well, the government had, well, for the US, they have had more than $2 trillion US dollars already and lowered the interest rates. A lot of government paychecks are handing out to corporates, endangered corporates, and unemployed people. But after this rescue action, well, you died. Then you have no blame to the government. You won't go to the street and shout around. You won't demonstrate. Well, at this time, if you demonstrate, the police will say, well, please go home, social distancing, homebound. Let us not put more burden to the hospitals, to the people working in so-called health care, right? But what happens is that after this prohibition from going around, from demonstration, you receive government rescue package, financial help. After that, your company is bankrupt. No business, no customers. Well, it's quite natural. No business for 3 months. A lot of firms without enough or sufficient cash flow or cash deposit will die, right? If you, well, just take an example. If the government doesn't inflict by executive power the economic downturn, then the communists died gradually. And after the communist died, perished, a lot of people, double-digit unemployment. When the government comes to rescue, you will ask for more. Well, the government can't pay you too much. Well, they have first to take away your money from your pocket, take away your tax money, and then give you a bit back, minus the executive fees, the bureaucracy. So what the tricky part is that the government has done its job. They created the crisis, they defined, they carved out the recession, and then they tried to save it, and after that you go bankrupt. But of course, my friend, my good friend, every recession is a time for the rich to rob off the poor. When you have enough cash, enough assets, in an economic recession, assets prices go down, purchasing power is down. So if you have enough money, you can buy those good companies, flats, facilities, public facilities, very good shares, or companies that is able to bounce back or have very good resilient power during a recession. Then you can collect a lot of portfolio, diversify your portfolio, and then you'll get rich after the recession. For the poor people, it's just dropping down to the poor end. So, my good friend, what you can see is that a kind of very strange, very mysterious collaboration between the government and the super rich. And for the less rich, in the middle class, they will drop down to a lower middle class. For the lower middle class, they will drop down to the poor people. So that's I guess, that's what's happening in this year. And how to survive? Well, the game is going, the trick is done. And you put on your mask, you look at the figures of virus, of deaths, or any kind of diagnosis, etc. You got food, not really food, but anyhow, your attention is brought to something else. Then you think about digital money, social distancing, monitoring by cameras, etc. Then suddenly you don't know that. Well, your pocket, the money in the pocket will go away. Inflation, your assets, you have to sell it, etc. And you lose money. Well, how to survive? I can't give you too much advice on that, right? because I'm not too rich, I'm not the government, and the government and the rich people won't tell you, right? And as for a less rich philosopher or thinker, what I can tell you is that you better know yourself. The same very old lesson, a motto of the Apollo's temple in ancient Greeks: know thyself, know who you are, what you're going to do, what you're going to do with your money, with your corporates, with your savings, with your investment portfolios, how resilient you are. Can you survive? How to give up something not really necessary and expensive, and how to keep the basic things. But if you give away too much, you won't be able to bounce back to a normal track after the recession. So important is still the same thing. Know thyself, know yourself, and then keep a very close look of reality. Look at the figures. Look at what is really happening in the economy, employment figures, in which government is going to open up, which countries open up, whether it will affect your business, your customers. And then you think very carefully, when is the time the economy will bounce back, when the recession or the economic downturn is going to end, and then plan very well for your future.